not interested.
How many more times should I walk back and forth like this? I kind of hate to do this. Like, if I was by myself, I would just put on 24 and just keep walking back and forth, but I'm an entertainer right now, right? Dance, monkey, dance! Say something, Paeter! Be conversant and funny and insightful! No! You can't do a YouTube stream and just frickin' walk back and forth? Well, apparently you can. This guy Paeter's doing it. No, I'll go find a save point. I'll move on to something else. Oh man, I can't wait to dig back into all these systems in this game when the remaster comes. I'm getting excited. The Matrix Trilogy. I love the Matrix Trilogy. Or at least I used to. Now I know it too well. I just know it too well. But I loved all three of those movies. The third one had to grow on me, because I wanted them to spend more time in the Matrix rather than the real world. I actually thought we were going to find out, based on the end of the second movie, I thought we would find out in the third movie that, like, what we thought was the real world was just another layer of the Matrix that they would have to find their way out of, you know. But that wasn't... I think that would have been a lot cooler of a third movie. But there were still a lot of things I loved about the third movie. Alright, let's give this one a try. Since I'm talking about the Matrix, I haven't touched this game in forever. And I probably won't want to play it long. But there's just so much to comment on there. Stuff that definitely parallels and lines up with Scripture, and there's a whole lot also that is just representative of just the broken philosophies that are popular today. So there's just a lot to kind of sift through and think through and reflect on in those movies, in addition to them being these cool action nerd fests. I have not to this day seen a combination of that strong, of like crazy nerd action and like tons of content worth dissecting, you know, in a movie. I'm trying to think. Nothing's coming to mind right now. I used to say that the Matrix Trilogy was my favorite superhero movie. Like, if people asked me what my favorite superhero movie was, I would say the Matrix Trilogy. They say, that's a superhero movie? You bet your butt it's a superhero movie. It's so inspired by comic books, and, I mean, anime as well, certainly. And not only do I know the story so well, the lines so well, all the beats and actions, the action beats, excuse me, so well. But, I mean, I've watched so many of the behind-the-scenes features, I know how every scene was made, and so it's like all I can see is the code now, you know? For a little while, I actually ran a Matrix RPG based on the rule set of Mayfair's Exponential gaming system, which was a DC Heroes game. Frickin' stealth games. I hate stealth mechanics. Well, I shouldn't say that. I like stealth mechanics when failing to be stealthy does not mean insta-fail. Oh man, are you guys nervous? I'm nervous. Oh jeez. Jump out from behind cover by using left stick plus X. Alright, here we go. Go! L2 thingy bot! Okay. Move, Neo! Oh jeez. How do I duck? Oh my gosh, I don't know how to sneaky. Make a break! Okay. He's over here. Well, let me break! I'm trying! Go! Oh. Sleep good. Love you. Do I get any PR points for that? Oh, jeez! Oh, jeez, really? Oh my gosh, I didn't think I was gonna make that. I would love for these games, especially the first one in this series, to get the remaster treatment, but they're not popular enough. They're more like cult hits than they were like big celebrated titles. So I don't imagine they'll be remastered on PS4, which is why I still really wish that PS4 would give up on the game streaming thing as a solution to backwards compatibility and actually figure out disc-based backwards compatibility. Because this PlayStation 2 is going to die someday. It is on close to its last legs. It could die any day now. I got a controller that kind of like every once in a while conks out on me, and I have to push a button to get it to reactivate. And I've got a laser that I have to go in there and readjust every now and then because it'll just stop reading discs or take forever to adjust them. So I have to, all the screws that keep the top on, I've kept undone for years so that whenever I need to, I can pull the top off, get my little screwdriver in there and adjust the laser and put it back on. And if they don't introduce backwards compatibility, I might take up a hobby of like learning how to restore or maintain PS2s. I know it doesn't get Sony any money software-wise to just make the machine backwards compatible, because they can resell any games that they up-res. So I get maybe their hesitancy to do that, but they'd win a lot of points with me, which I'm sure that's really their greatest dream in life, is to win points with Peter Franson. So I've never been asked this before, but just in case anybody's curious, and especially with, we got an election year coming up, what are my politics? Am I liberal or conservative? How would I describe myself politically? I'm not very political. I don't keep track of politics as well as I should. And I feel a recurring conviction to be more aware of politics, more aware of political issues that are being wrestled with in our government and by our government leaders. And also I feel recurringly convicted to just be aware of, world events. I found out about the tragedy in Florida from the guys mentioning it briefly in the opening of their conference at the beginning at E3. I don't do a very good job with that, and talked to Holly one or two times recently about what kinds of things we could maybe do. We'll just hear about things going on in the world, whether it's political or like a national tragedy of some kind. We just hear about them from, our pastor mentioning something we can be praying about at the, during the church service or, whatever. So, so I'm not aware. I'm registered as a Republican, but funnily enough, I don't consider myself a Republican. Sometimes someone in the same way how I would say, I go to an evangelical church, and I would even describe myself as evangelical, but I would want to explain what that means, because in the news, there's all kinds of baggage and things, activities, and beliefs about the world that are attached to that word evangelical. Evangelicals think this, and evangelicals did this, and in a recent poll, evangelicals blah, 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 blah. And I don't want to be attached to all that stuff because sometimes it's like that's not me, But I'm an evangelical, not in the political world news sense, but in the sense that the actual word means, pertaining to the Gospels and the Bible and salvation, specifically the Gospels and Scripture. So that's really, evangelical really refers to someone who is a Bible-believing, a Bible-based, a Bible-prioritizing, a Bible-following believer. But that's not what we think of, is it, when we think of evangelical? And so, I would describe myself as conservative in terms of, I just prefer small government, and there are no politicians that I trust. When it comes to, I usually only vote in presidential elections. For as long as I've been voting, I've felt like my choice is who's going to do the least amount of damage. I don't think that anybody's going to do great things and make our country better. And it was really disappointing to me in the first election, the first time Obama was elected, to see at the Democratic convention, and I thought it would be different maybe, but at the Republican convention when they had, what's his dude? You know his name. I should know his name. He's the Arizona senator. Going to their conventions, they were like worship events. People were screaming and women were crying at both of these men as they came out. I was just like, guys, we're not electing saviors. They are not going to save us. Why are you weeping? Why are you crying? This is a man. Now, I think that with the election of Obama, there was... Some people were crying, not because they thought he was going to save us, maybe they did, but there was historical significance to that, and I can understand the emotion attached to that. And I don't want to say that wasn't significant, you know, a significant step. I don't really have a lot to say about politics because I don't trust politicians, you know. Who am I going to vote for? Person in the end of the day that I think will do the least amount of damage. That's what's going to happen in November when I vote. Oh my gosh. The person that I think is going to stay out of our way the most. That will probably be the conservative candidate. If that's Trump, it's Trump, you know. I'm not wrapped up in like, oh, this person... I used to be, a long time ago, when I was first getting a sense of politics. I was like, oh, this person, they have a horrible record in their character. They've shown in their personal life that they have bad character, whatever. I no longer expect politicians to have good character. I just like, what's their track record? And based on that, what's the likelihood that they are going to interfere with the things that I think are important, that we should be free to do? So, the people that are going to continue to give the churches freedom, and not just the Christian church, but I think like all churches. You know, I'm not wanting a theocracy. Israel had that chance. They blew it. They totally rejected it, and I don't think we would do any better. We're waiting for our king. Yeah, it's getting a little late in the night for me to talk a whole lot about this. I don't have much to say about it. I'm just not very political. I lean toward conservative. I lean toward, like I said, the politician that's going to stay out of the way and stop and not legislate their morality or the morality of a group of people. I think that's really interesting that on the left side politically, you're going to tend, I think, to see people that are like would be against a lot of kind of like more conservative type of traditional maybe morals. You know, they're going to be a little bit more morally permissive, but then the things that they are passionate about, they want to see legislated. They want to enforce the moral issues that they do care about. They want them to be enforced, you know. Whereas I'm more like, let's just do what we can to keep people safe and keep people free, and let's not legislate morality beyond that, you know. And let's give the churches, let's give you and I as believers the opportunity to affect other people. You want to vote for Mulligan? That's funny, Rugged Warrior. That's funny. What we need is Jesus. What we need is Jesus to come. Jesus, come quickly and begin your reign on earth so we can be done with this just nonsense. All right. That's all I got to say on politics.
I'm not interested.